Buddha's enlightenment, Buddha's Sarvanyutta. If we have that kind of doubt, this is also called Chitta-kila, error in the mind. That means we cannot move forward. Actually, there are many Buddha's qualities mentioned in the text. Although there are many ways the Buddha help people, the Buddha guides his disciples. But if we have doubt about all these things, this is also called Chitta-kila, errors in the mind. The next one is doubt about the Dhamma. So we have the quality of Dhamma. You may have already learned 6 qualities of the Dhamma. We may have doubt about the Dhamma. This is one thing. When we say the Dhamma, we have to understand 2 different things. The first one is Lokiya Dhamma, that means learning knowledge, learning Buddhist texts. So if we learn Buddha's teaching, then we may have a lot of doubt about Buddha's teaching. This also can be considered as errors in the mind. The modern society is very messy, very complicated. Many different scholars say many different things. For example, even in the sutta, then some suttas are explained by the Buddha. Some suttas are explained by Buddha disciples. But sometimes when we just refer to some sutta given by disciples, then some people say it's not Buddha teaching. It's Venerable Ananda. It's Venerable Sariputta, not the Buddha. They have that kind of mind. But anyway, the Buddha also approve their way of teaching, the way they instruct people. Anyway, the main problem is like very messy, other messy things like no Abhidhamma in Buddha teaching, no Atthakatha, no commentary, no sub-commentary, many messages, many things like that. Anyway, the main thing is learning. So if we learn to practice, it's okay. Then if we just learn for only curiosity or for criticizing or something, then this way is a little bit problematic in practice. Anyway, the main thing is we will not believe Pali Canon, commentary, sub-commentary, and many things. It doesn't mean you must believe everything, right? Even the commentator himself admitted it. There will be some pamada leka. That means there may be some mistakes in the commentary. The commentator, Venerable Buddha himself said like this. Okay, anyway, the main thing is doubt about Buddha teaching means doubt about Pali texts and any other Buddha's teaching. Another thing is Buddha's quality means path and fruition knowledge. Sorry, Dhamma's quality means path and fruition knowledge. This is called supramundane Dhamma. If we don't believe, for example, Sotapadimagga can eradicate wrong view, as those who attain Sotapadimagga can undertake or can observe 5 precepts naturally. And we may not believe, then this also can be called Chitta-kila. So if we have this kind of doubts, then we cannot improve. Another thing is doubt about the Sangha. And doubt about the Sangha means there's no noble Sangha in the world. Right? Then we have that kind of doubt. If we have this kind of doubt, then we cannot improve. This is also called Chitta-kila, errors in the mind. Okay, now the 4th one is Sikkhapada. Sikha means training rules, or we can also say Sikha. Sorry, we just say only Sikha. Sikha means trainings. So in this case, when we say Sikha, we can also understand 3 trainings. The morality, for example. Now, we may not believe morality is important. Without morality, we can also attain jhana, we can also attain path and fruition knowledge, for example. When we have this kind of belief, when we have this kind of doubt about morality, we cannot improve. Then many people also talk about Angulimala, right? Many people say, Angulimala killed many people. When he met the Buddha, then he became noble person. We don't need to follow morality. We don't need to follow many linear rules. People have that kind of guidance, that kind of misleading. So then we should not compare with special people. Right? Angulimala is special people. He's a lay person. For about lay person, as soon as we decide I will not make mistake again, then it's good enough. For bhikkhu, we must have compassion. Not only that, there are many, many other steps if we have very serious offense. Okay, the main thing is if we don't believe the morality and the benefit of morality. We can also say another way, we have doubt about the morality, also the benefit of morality. This is also error in the mind. Similarly, concentration. The many teachers also say, now modern society is many difficulty to attain jhana. It's not important to attain jhana. Just go to Vipassana. Vipassana is more important than jhana or concentration. This kind of thing also actually misleading people. Anyway, so many times I'm listening to the same topics, the same things, the same instructions from the same teacher or different teacher. We may have doubt about concentration or jhana. Another thing is many different ways of approaching jhana. Now also many new invention, new creation. For example, drying jhana, dark jhana, many things. Even we cannot find in the Pali canons or any part of Tipitaka. So after learning many different new inventions, people may have doubt about original teaching, but especially about concentration. So when we have this kind of doubts, we cannot improve our concentration because we don't believe our aim, we don't believe our targets, we don't believe our ambitions, we don't believe our goal. So that means if we have doubt about our ability and our goal, sure, we cannot improve anymore. That is errors in the mind. Similarly, Vipassana. Actually, it's very messy about Vipassana. For example, recently, I have some retreat in other country. Then they just trying to ask me many questions about their own tradition, their own practice. I also know that the way they practice Vipassana. Then actually he said he does not wish to follow my instruction. That's why he just talk about his way of practice. Then he also says something, right? I mean, he just said, "Oh, we just need to know whatever thing we are doing is good enough. Why we have to attain jhana? Why we need jhana?" Then actually that kind of instruction is very simple, right? We just need to know in every activities. For example, when walking, just know walking. When cooking, just know cooking. This is called Vipassana. This in their point of view. Then I just pinpoint one weakness of this method. Okay. For example, a hunter will aim at a deer with gun. So he also knows he's aiming. He's well concentrated to shoot. And without concentration, he cannot shoot also, right? He must have very strong concentration. He must focus on the target. Then he shoot it. He also knows he's shooting. Then what kind of mind it is. Is it kusala or is it vipassana? Sometimes if we just do, right, easier way, the many side effects. Similarly, a fisherman, he may throw the net into the water, he may pull, then he may collect all the fishes mindfully. Can it be vipassana? Can it be, right, kusala? So sometimes we have many doubt about it. I must have been to that kind of tradition. That's what I know. I must have doubt about that kind of traditions. Why is it happening like this? When I ask the meditation teacher or somebody, if we do like this, then we cannot overcome defilements. For example, if we shoot animal mindfully, then we cannot overcome defilements. That's why it's not vipassana. So actually, if we do mindfully walking also, it's not sure we can overcome defilements or not, right? So anyway, the main thing is, if we have doubt about vipassana, we cannot improve. Okay, for example, whenever people talk about vipassana, they know this body is a rupa. Then knowing the mind is a nama. Finish. That's the nama rupa. In Buddha teaching, we have many different types of namas. Okay, we should talk about only very simple part of Chittanupassana. Saragan Chittandi Pajanadi, Buddha said. So that means when we have minds that arise together with attachments or lustful minds, lustful mental fetters, then we have to know this is a lustful mind. Sa raga can be sami together with. Raga means lust. So mind alone does not arise. It must arise together with lust. Not only that, it will be many other mental fetters. So that means although we say Chittanupassana, Chitta alone cannot arise. We must know it. So similarly, Sadhos and Chitta, Vidados and Chitta, we have many different parts of Chittanupassana. Okay, if I say briefly, Nama doesn't mean only the minds. It also includes many other mental fetters that arise together. We also have some competitiveness, synthetic competitiveness, Kudanyati competitiveness. There are many things we have to know. Synthetic competitiveness means, okay, if we say synthesis competitiveness, that means many mental factors arise together. For example, when we see something, the minds, and also there will eye contact. Then because of eye contact, there's some feeling arise together. Also, we have perceptions. We also have volitional formation, intention. There are many mental factors. They arise together to see something. We have to know all the mental factors as a group. We call synthesis competitiveness. So if we can break synthesis competitiveness, we have stronger perceptions of anatta, the non-self. Then we can know anatta clearly. For this purpose, we have to break down all types of competitiveness. So the main thing is, if we have doubt about Buddha teaching, then if we have doubt about trainings, Vipassana, we cannot improve. In the Vipassana, actually, we have to know many different types of mentalities, many different types of materialities, many different types of their causes. Then we have to know. Now we have to proceed practicing Vipassana. So if we believe all this kind of practice, we also have error in our minds. So, okay, now the last one about error in the minds. This is a harboring grudge against Dhamma friends. Especially when we are in the group. Now, okay, you're also in the group, right? Group meditation. If somebody may make some mistakes. If we still hate, when we are meditating, just recall his behavior or her behavior. This is also error in the mind, just anger, hatred, grudge. then we cannot improve. When we have all these types of errors in the Kila, we cannot meditate when going or coming back. This is the first thing we have to understand. Another thing, he comes back without fulfilling any duties or meditation. Of course, in our meditation, we have many duties, right? We have to do many different things to stabilize our minds. For example, right, when we are accepting the foods, we also need moderating in foods. When we are eating also, we must eat mindfully, although moderating in foods. But anyway, we have to fulfill many duties, such as we have to clean the compound, we have to clean the monastery, we have to clean the rooms, we have to clean the body trees and many different places. After that, we can meditate. Then see, he comes back without having perception of meditation. So no perception of meditation, that means his mind does not incline to meditate. So when we have this kind of the weakness of mindfulness, we cannot improve also. And actually, our minds must incline to meditation. Then D, he unnecessarily associates with lay devotees. Kihi samsaka. Okay, one more thing. When we say kihi samsaka, actually it will be very messy. That's why here I just use English word, unnecessarily associates. So that means when we are going for Vrindavan, he may talk many unnecessary things with lay devotees. He also listen many different topics from lay devotees. Right? That means like making friends, not for Dhamma purpose. This is called unnecessary relationship, unnecessary association. But if we just associate with them for Dhamma purpose, because when they ask Dhamma question, we may answer. Then, if we wish to know something about, right, their lifestyle, okay, for a sense of urgency, we can also ask them. So it depends on how we behave and how we associate with lay devotees. We can say Kihi Samsata. Kihi Samsata means that means too much close to the lay devotees. Then E, accepting foods, partaking of foods, and coming back with negligence. So in this context, we can also understand that ancient time, when we go for Vrindavan to the village, then there will be some pavilions near the village or inside the village. Then we can sit there, we can also eat. After that, we can wash the bowl and come back. Then we have that kind of, they may have that kind of culture in the past. Now, there are some meditators, they have been to Paauk. I think you have been to Paauk village also. In every single quarter of the village, they have a pavilion, even in Paauk village. Then we can also rest there. We can also eat there, for example. Actually, in every single village in Myanmar, traditionally, we have pavilion at the in the entrance of the village. Mostly we have. Then we may rest there. Then we may have our lunch. After that, we may come back to the monastery. But here, with negligence, no mindful. So that means when we are going for Vrindavan, now we have to be mindful. Okay, another thing is that we can also radiate metta to our devotees. This is also one of the things. Another thing is that we can also do Bhattavakana, Medisangayoni, so on and so on, right? So when we are eating also, we can radiate metta to our devotees. This is one of the way. Another one is just recollecting the purpose of eating, Medisangayoni, so on and so on. Now on the way back, we can focus on the meditation subjects. So if somebody has all these 5 or one of these 5, we cannot focus on the meditation. Then we will go to the village without meditation. We will come back from the village without meditation. So that means they don't have a Gochara Sapaya. They don't have proper meditation subject. Then, okay, one more thing here I should elaborate. We have a one Mahathera, Pusa Deva Mahathera. We go to the village, then he keep water inside his mouth. He didn't speak anything. Then when people ask, which day is it Vipassana day, then which day is it, right? Vipassana, like Sangha gathering days, they may ask these kind of questions. Which day is it Bhavana day? When they ask these kind of questions, he may split water, he may answer the questions. So on the way, he just go together with meditation. He just go mindfully, focus on his meditation subjects. Okay, here I should introduce some Eastern tradition. Because it's like a landmark, maybe, right? Landmark, maybe. But here you cannot see my room. Okay. Okay, in front of my room, there's trees. Right? I will walk from my room to the tree, mindfully. After that, there's another goal, another landmark. Okay. Maybe after that, there's one more tree, a little far. Okay, between these two trees, I will go mindfully, focus on my meditation subject. So there will be many different landmarks on the way, like taking stones, trees, stump, or many different things. Then, if we have some negligence between two trees, for example, he may come back to previous parts. Okay, you can say landmark 1, landmark 2, landmark 3, for example, we have, right? So from 1 to 2, we are walking, focus on the meditation. On the way, then we may have some wandering thoughts. He may come back to the 1. Then just go mindfully, focusing on meditation subjects to 2. If successfully reach there, then 2 to 3. Again, keep focusing on the meditation subject. He may walk 2 to 3. If he had some wandering thoughts on the way, he may come back to the 2 and keep going 1 to the 2 to 3 again and again. Similarly, Lama 3 and 4. Right? So they may have many landmarks on the way, trees, stone, stones, rock, many things on the way. But if he has some wandering thoughts, then he may come back to previous one as punishment. Then keep going. Some late devotee, when seeing him, asks, "Bhante, do you get lost something? How can we help you?" He didn't reply anything. He just keep doing mindfully. So he had that kind of practice on the way to Pindapada, on the way back from Pindapada. So he could attain hardship. Okay, the main thing is, this is the way we have to be mindful. For example, now I also have already explained you, right? 5 minutes. Until you are not successfully focusing on 5 minutes, determine 5 minutes again and again. If you can, for example, within 1 hour, you may determine 5 minutes. So before fully focus on 5 minutes, you may have wandering thoughts. Okay, restart from 0. Try it again. After maybe 2 or 3 minutes, you may have wandering thoughts. Okay, restart from 0. And in this way, until you are successfully focusing for 5 minutes, you can try. This is also called Gochara Samajanya, right? Similarly, when walking, we can also do the same. Standing also, we can do the same. When walking, we can have landmark. Okay, try it again and again. So these are the way we have to practice Gochara Samajanya. It will be effective practice for meditators. Another one is the Asamoha Samajanya, non-delusion. We can also say non-confusion. When we talk about non-delusion, it will be very many minor details about practice. This also should be meditation subject. We are mindful with meditation subjects. So here, okay, for example, you may have already known many parts of Mahasatipatthana Sutta, but for example, going as the going, right? You have already known this kind of things. In the case of Samajanya, Asamoha Samajanya, then we have to follow all these steps. In every single posture, we must focus on the meditation subject. So for Vipassana practitioners, we can also do like going as a going. Okay, I should introduce what it really means going as a going, or walking as a walking. So when we say walking, it means bodily intimation. In Pali we call Kaya Vinyati. Kaya Vinyati is actually mind-produced materialities. So the minds will produce the wind will produce movement. This is called Kaya Vinyati. So in the case of Kaya Vinyati, or like walking as a walking, then we also have to know two different things. Carrying rupas, we can say carrying materialities, another one is being carrying materialities. Two different things. When we are walking, when elements predominant, mind produces materialities are carrying all other materialities. So all other materialities are being carried by mind producing materialities when predominant. So similarly, when we are sitting, it also mind producing materialities support, when elements support our body to stable, to keep straight. This is also one element predominant. That's when we can sit. Right? When we move, pushing. When we sit, supporting. So when we talk about one element, there are two different characteristics of one element. The first one is pushing. Another one is supporting, two characteristics. So when we are walking, at the time, pushing, it will be predominant, it will be clearer. When we are sitting, supporting will be clearer. So we have to know many different types of materialities. Also, we can also say rupa kalapas, particles. Some of the kalapas are rising and aberration. So all of them are rising and aberration, but in the different places when we are walking. Right? They are moving, they will rise and perish here, but they will not rise the same place, they will rise in another place. That's why we can say we are moving. When we are sitting, sure, they are rising in the same place. That's why we can say we are sitting. So we have to know different conditions, different materialities, different predominant factors. Then in this way, we can be Asamoha Samajanya, non-delusions. Actually, there are many other preliminary practices for Asamoha Samajanya also. For example, before going for Brindapada, we may wear the robe. We may bring the bow. Then in our mind, we have to recall or reflect, okay, this robe is just a bondage. This body is full of wounds, right? Full of injuries. Then we have to rub with the bondage. That is why the robe is like a bondage to rub the body. Another thing is a bowl. Bowl is just a cup to bring medicine, right? To apply in the body. Because I always say the body is full of wounds, right? Full of injuries. Now, by having this kind of perceptions, we have less attachment to the foods, less attachment to the clothes. Actually, there are many, many other things mentioned in the commentary. It will be too wide. That's why I cannot explain all the things here. The main thing is Asamoah Samajana is very much in detail about meditation. In every single posture, just keep doing meditation. Don't follow any thoughts. In the case of Gochara, we just go, right? Talk about like going and coming back. But here, in the case of Asamoah Samajana, every time, everywhere, focus on the meditation. Okay, now, when we are going to develop the enlightenment factors of mindfulness, we also recommend to associate with mindful person. So this Sattata Mahathera was able to preach in 18 different languages, explaining the text of the Tipitaka. That means he's very mindful, very strong mindfulness. That's why he could explain many things at the same time. It's not that easy, right? That means he can explain Tipitaka with many different languages. So the main thing is we have to associate with mindful people. That means they have appearance. We have appearance. Was that in the case of Venerable Tisatata? He could explain Tipitaka with many different languages. That means very strong mindfulness. So that's why he could do like this. Then again, Mahanagatera. With attention to Mahabharana Buddha, determined standing and walking meditation for 7 years. And he didn't lie down, he didn't sit, standing and walking. He also practiced Katapachakata for 16 years. Katapachakata means when go for Bidabada, I have already said, right? He also go to the village with meditation subject. When he come back, also, he come back with meditation subject. This is called Katapachakata Vata. So if we associate with that kind of people, then we can also emulate the way they practice, the way they believe. Then we can also improve ourselves. Okay, here I should talk about association again, right? Even yesterday, I have already talked about association. When we say association, it doesn't mean we have to make friends. We must have close relationship. It just means we must follow the way they practice. We must emulate or imitate their practice. So that means in our minds, he will be like our idol or something, right? So anyway, the main thing is we can do very well by emulating or by imitating their practice. This is called association. So if we can associate with mindful people, we can also improve our mindfulness. This is also important in our life. Okay, again, we have the next part. To associate with the mindful persons, right? The 50 monks in Kalambajita Vihara made an agreement to keep noble silence until they could attain hardship, keeping water in the mouth. They went for alms foods. When devotee asked time and date of Uposatha and Dhamma, they were spit out and answered their questions. This is the way they practice. Then if they keep noble silence, then you may also have heard something about Bhavarana, maybe, right? In the Bhavarana traditions. They also keep in silence. Then they don't speak. They don't speak totally. That's why Buddha condemns them, and also Buddha lay down the rules to confess each other, or to invite each other if they find faults or if they see some mistakes, to remind each other. So here in their case, they also keep noble silence. Not only that, they also practice Katapachakata Vata. Go for Midabhata, coming back with meditation. So here in their case, we cannot say complete silence. Be careful, right? It's not complete silence. You can say noble silence. So when devotee asks some time and date or upasata or dhamma, then they also answer. Not only that, actually, when some of their friends ask some dhamma question, they may answer. For other daily conversation, they will not speak. Okay, that means since they have a very good intention, good minds, they also have the metta toward each other. For example, one bhikkhu is carrying very big material, then he's not strong enough. When seeing him, the second bhikkhu, when seeing him, he may help him to carry the materials. Without conversation, they can know the other people needs. When other people need help, they can help. Sometimes if they need, they can also use body language to come, just meditate. Right? After that, they just work together. After that, meditate. So that means although they are keeping silence, they are fulfilling or performing their duties well. They can help each other. They can support each other with material or with dhamma. So many of devotees misunderstand because they don't speak each other. Right? Then all the venerable ones don't speak each other, and they have some arguments among them, or they have quarrels. They have this kind of misunderstanding. Then they are also curious. Okay, they don't talk to us too much. What about they themselves? They just go and then check in the monastery. In the monastery, also all of them are meditating each other in their own place. But when one of them needs help, the second person come and help. When seeing that, they know, okay, they are not quarreling. They don't have any arguments. They are just practicing their own way of trainings. So later, the devotees seeing fulfillment of their duties, recognize that there was no argument. Then they have stronger faith in them. So one more thing, especially there are some bhikkhus. We have also another group, right? Another traditions. When they enter the village, they just keep water inside the mouth. But when they leave the village, they spit out in front of the gate door outside the village. Many villagers, when seeing many water, and you can see today, for example, how many numbers of bhikkhus come to the village. They can count how many places they spit water. They can also know the number of bhikkhus living nearby in their village, in the forest. So, if somebody has this kind of mindfulness, this kind of practice, which we can follow, we can emulate, then in this way we can also improve our mindfulness. At the same time, we also have already said, don't associate with negligent person, right? We have already mentioned the one. It's very easy. Around our living place, there are many negligent people, right? So that means we must not associate with any negligent people. What about we ourselves become negligent? Then it will be more risky, right? Then, of course, it means if we are negligent, we are not very wise. We must change our conditions. Okay, now we have the last things here, right? The first time seeing the Buddha and his disciples, seeing quietness of sanghas, rapture arose in Ajadasattu. This is about King Ajadasattu. You have already known who is Ajadasattu, right? After killing his father, he cannot sleep well. He went to see the Buddha, but he did not go because he has already have DHAMMA to assassinate the Buddha. Not only that, he also has killed Buddhist devotees, his father, Bimbisara. That's why he did not go to see the Buddha. But with the help of Jivaka, he could visit the monastery for the first time. When seeing the bhikkhu, there are many hundreds of bhikkhus sitting around the Buddha. All of them are very quiet and stable. Very strong rapture around his mind, like hair rising, right? Feel like hair rising. Then when seeing very quiet bhikkhus, very stable bhikkhus, because they have well-trained bhikkhus, that's why very stable, very calm. He remembered his son. If my son is quiet and stable like that, it will be very beneficial, very grateful. So that means, although he's not very well-trained, he's not very mindful, when seeing mindful bhikkhus, quiet bhikkhus, then very strong devotion also arises. So anyway, when seeing very calm and stable Sangha, sure, we have stronger devotions, stronger rapture. When seeing very mindful community, now we have very strong rapture. We may also right, very strong faith in their practice. In this way, we can also develop our mindfulness. So that means we might go and see how other people are working, how other people are practicing. If we can emulate the way they practice, we can also improve. If negligent people, we should not follow. Actually, it is very easy to follow negligent people. Very difficult to follow mindful people. Right? Not that easy because this is going upstream. So when you are going to swim in the river, swimming upstream, not easy. When you swim downstream, it's very easy. Similarly, to emulate bad people, negligent people, it's really very easy. It's like going downstream. We don't need strength. When we are going to emulate good people, mindful people, then we have to use too much mental energy and bodily energy. We can go upstreams. Okay, that means associating with mindful persons will be helpful for us. In the same way, associating with negligent people, it will be helpful for our practice. Again, Dadhati-mudata. Dadhati-mudata means inclining to the mindfulness. So it's willingness to improve mindfulness. So we must be very careful. So if the meditator is unwilling to improve mindfulness, then it will be a little bit difficult to improve. We cannot develop mindfulness. So another thing is that we must be interested in mindfulness. So now practically, you are also meditating, I'm also meditating here. So if we are unwilling to meditate, we cannot improve. Sometimes we are not very interested in meditation. We cannot improve. We must have a willingness to meditate. This is also important. Sometimes we are very lazy. That means we are not very interested in meditation. So if we are really interested in meditations, then we can practice better. Sometimes when somebody asks, actually today I'm very lazy, what to do? What the answer recommends them to try to have a sense of urgency, or to try to have stronger faith, or otherwise try to be interested in meditation. Okay, there are many interesting things in interesting things in meditation. Okay, now some of meditator has already experienced the light, for example. When seeing it, it's really very interesting. Right? Similarly, very interesting. The tranquility. When we start experiencing tranquility, very interesting. We cannot experience that kind of things in other practice, other traditions. Only in meditation we can experience that kind of things. That is why when our mind inclines to meditation subjects or when our mind inclined to the benefit of meditation subject, or when we are interested in the benefit of meditation, it will be easier to improve. So these are the way to improve the mindfulness. Then here again, the bhikkhu knows that the completion by cultivations of enlightenment fetters of mindfulness brought into being by these 4 ways take place by means of attainments of the path of gratitude. Okay, we summarize. If we developed in these 4 ways diligently, we can also attain gratitude. Okay, for your information, I should revise all the 4. I will not show the slide, right? The first one, sati samajanya. Sati means mindfulness, samajanya means clear comprehension. Today we have already finished 4 types of clear comprehension. If we follow all these things, clear comprehensions and mindfulness, then we can practice better. This is also to develop the mindfulness. So for our sati, I have already mentioned, sati means very firm, very stable perceptions of meditation subject. I also have already mentioned, sati means knowing deeply, not floating. We just know the object deeply. In this case, we can say mindfulness. So if we have mindfulness, sati, and also samajana, clear comprehensions, this is also the way to develop mindfulness. The second part, we have already mentioned, not to associate with negligent people. Even today, I have already explained second time, right? So if we associate with negligent people, then our concentration will decline. Okay, one more thing. Association means making conversation with them, or maybe we may emulate them. This is called association. We call sevana, right? When we say sevana, that means we emulate or we imitate or we follow their footsteps. We are just doing as they did. Another thing, asevana also can say like a repetition. So that means as they do, we also repeat. We also follow. This is also called asevana. Anyway, the main thing is don't follow or don't emulate negligent people. This is called not associating with negligent people. Similarly, associating with mindful people, mindful persons. Also, actually, I have already talked about how they mindful at the time of the Buddha, how they trained, right? So in Sri Lanka also mentioned some of the part from Sri Lanka story. Some story are from Sri Lanka, right? So in Sri Lanka also, they have that kind of trainings. Anyway, the main thing is associating with mindful person means we must follow the way they practice. We must emulate the way they practice. This is called associating with mindful persons. Now, the DHAMMA, the last one, inclinations or inclining to mindfulness. That means we must have willingness to improve our mindfulness. Also, we must be interested in mindfulness. Not only that, we must be mindful everywhere, in any conditions. Our mind must incline to meditation subject anywhere, anytime, in any conditions. This is also called the DHAMMA. So, to be mindful, we don't have shortcuts. We must be mindful. Okay? So, today, we have finished this Sati Sambhojjhanga, the enlightenment factor of mindfulness. So I have already said, mindfulness is the key player in every single improvement. Even bodily improvement, we need mindfulness. We need awareness. When we are going to balance controlling faculties, we must also have mindfulness. When we are mindful enough, we can know which factor is weak, which factor is stronger. We can balance well. In the same way, when we are going to develop other enlightenment factors, we also need mindfulness. And we can know which ones are weak, which ones are strong. According to the conditions we have, we must develop different enlightenment factors. That is why mindfulness is a key player in every single practice. Even in morality, Indriya-Samvara guidance and rules is also mindfulness. If we are not very mindful, all the defilement will come through our eyes. Many defilement also can come into our ears. Right? When we see many different things, we may have defilements. That means defilement come to our eyes, or go to our minds. Similarly, when hearing something, we may have defilements. Defilement go into our ear. Similarly, when smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, if we are not mindful, all the defilement will come into our mental process, our thought process. So when we talk about Indriya-Samvara guidance and rules, I have already mentioned, it is like a gatekeeper, right? Yesterday I have already talked about it, right? So it is like gatekeeper. Whoever comes, he will check. If a good person comes, okay, he may allow to enter. For a bad person, he may not allow to enter. This is the nature of mindfulness, sati. If we can develop the enlightenment factor of mindfulness, we can filter many defilements. Then we can just get only purity of the mind. That's why in every single practice, we need mindfulness. You may remember what I have said yesterday. A foolish, he knows that he's a foolish. Can be a wise. This is what I say in DHAMMA. So that means if he is aware of himself, he's a foolish, he can change. Similarly, if we are aware of our weakness, we can change easily. In meditations or in daily activities, in daily life, everywhere, mindfulness is a key player. So if we can develop the enlightenment for our mindfulness, then we can be a successful meditator. Okay? May you all be able to practice the Buddha teaching, and as a result of it, may you all be able to achieve the higher attainment. Okay.
Sadhu, 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 sadhu. Sadhu, may we proceed to the Q&A session?
Okay. Okay.
Dear Dharma brothers and sisters, if you have any question, you can raise your hand. Brother Jia Hong will bring the mic to you.
白子孙请教一下，可以讲中文吗？这儿
可以的。
哦，thanks。请教一下这个禅相，这里讲的禅相是诸法实相吗？是这个释迦牟尼在《金刚经》里所讲的“若见诸相非相，即见如来”吗？还是《心经》里所讲的“色即是空”呢？空即是色？还是生灭相吗？谢谢。
One name is Seattle. Seattle, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Yes, Seattle. Her question is regarding this nimitta and the understanding of nimitta she says, is it same as the Lakkhana, the real sign of all the Dhamma? So her question basically means, is Lakkhana same as the Nimitta? And also, when someone see according to the Vajra Sutta of Mahayana, seeing the Lakkhana of all Dhamma is not Lakkhana, means seeing the Animitta of all the Dhamma is seeing the Buddha. The second reference he quote is from the Heart Sutta of Mahayana. That is, the Rupa is Sunya and Sunya is Sutta. Is it also related to Animitta? Means signness.
Actually, when we talk about Animitta, it must be in Vipassana, right? And according to Theravada traditions, Animitta should be in Vipassana. In Samatha, we don't have Animitta, right? Okay.
So her question is, this nimitta and the animitta, are they talking the same things?
How can it be the same? Nimitta and animitta, two different things, right? It cannot be the same. Right? So if we already say two negative things and two opposite things, right? Nimitta and animitta, two different things. It cannot be the same. For example, short and long cannot be the same, right? If it's short, it must be short. It cannot be long. It depends on comparison, you can say, right? Okay.
Any more questions? Okay,
Actually, one participant raised hands, the chat box.
Okay, yes, Yado.
I don't know who's
The
that.
same yogi, she has another question. The same yogi has another question.
Okay.
如果说在这个禅定过程当中，已经进入一个不呼吸的状态，已经不能够呼吸，那还要继续去找这个比这个呼吸处吗？就是所缘吗？这个现在就是对鼻子下边的这个所缘吗？因为已经处在一个不呼吸的境界。是否还要再去找，回头找也不知道在哪里。
And Misiado, if she has entered into a state of concentrations which has no breath, does she need to find the breath again to become the object of concentration?
Really? No. What the no breath means? Without knowing breath, you have concentration. That means, okay, one more thing. Sometimes your breath will disappear, right? When you're meditating. In this case, you can know the touching point. Then, by focusing on the touching, by waiting on the touching sensation, your breath will reappear. In this way, you can also train your mind. So, if we say non-breathing, that means like a fourth jhana, right? At the time, you don't need to think about breathing anymore. Okay, don't talk about fourth jhana, even anapanasati. When you can focus on the nimitta, you may not know breathing anymore. You just know the nimitta. At the time, don't think about breathing anymore. Okay, just keep focusing on the nimitta. So it depends on your condition or how you are practicing. Okay, when you are practicing anapanasati, so you must know the breathing. Without breathing, then you must know the touching sensation or touching point. Only two things. So when we attain jhana or when we can focus on the nimitta, you don't need to think about breathing anymore. Just keep knowing the nimitta. Okay.
Next question. Jia Hong, the yogi behind
you. Good evening, Sarah. Thank you so much for your kindness and patience. I have a few questions that my Dhamma friends would be very happy to listen to your teaching. Because a lot of them reporting that they have a nimitta and their progress of meditation is really good during this retreat. So, so when does the nimitta appear, and is it due to one's imagination? How can we differentiate between the real nimitta and the imagined nimitta? And they see like the lights all over their body, surrounding them like the moon, the sun so bright. And where are these light come from? And what kind of shapes do they have? Like round, or there's a shape change with one's will?
Okay. So the first question, right? Okay. So nimitta is not imaginary. Okay, practically you can imagine something about the light now. And close your eyes, try to imagine the light. You cannot maintain more than a few seconds. After a few seconds, it will disappear. Right? That means you cannot imagine. If you imagine it's a fake one, you cannot maintain 1 hour, 2 hours, something like that. Another thing is like seeing the light all over the body. It's also possible to see the light, but the problem is if we follow the light all over the body, then we don't have one pointedness, we will get lost. Okay. Okay. One more thing in your question also already included: changing the shape, changing the color. All the things that come from perceptions. Okay, when our perception change, the locations, the shape, the colors will change. Okay, so this is not mind-made. Okay, but produced by concentration, we can say. Although it's come from perceptions, all the changing are come from perceptions. The nimitta has come from mind power, concentration. Okay.
And then also, yes, I have a few questions to help me and my friends here during the retreat. Thank you so much for your patience and kindness. And also, yesterday, Saro taught us about the breath that is Mahakusala Citta accompanied by wisdom. But the breath is sometimes people are noting it with mindful, with wisdom, and sometimes they note it with mindless, like without wisdom. So how can we steer our noting in a skillful way toward the wisdom instead of the non-wisdom? Thank you, Saro.
Okay. Okay, in the case of samatha, if we know this is the right or wrong, this is the right object or wrong object, we can say is a wisdom. Okay? In the case of vipassana, we must know nama-rupas clearly. Okay, so sometimes, okay, you may know breathing, but not very clear, not very obvious. Some you may note, for example, right? You may know in and out mentally, but you don't know breathing because of habit you note, right? So if you just know or note by habit at the time, no wisdom. If you know the breathing, you just know in, out, or AL1, AL2, or anything, we can say you have wisdom because you know the right object. Okay? And another thing?
And then another question is one more with nimitta and one is another one. And that's it. The nimitta with and the lights, are they the same or different, Saro?
Okay, so we can say it's a difference. So the light can be anywhere in the body, all over the body. Then for about the nimitta, okay, that's the place. For example, some people, they may see nimitta somewhere around the face. There's a shape. For example, clouds, like a thread, like a ruby, like a stone, like the star, the moon, like the sun, right? There can be many different shapes of nimitta. So when it becomes very strong and powerful, then we cannot say shape anymore. It should be around nostril. The breathing inside is like the light, right? Very bright light, very strong, powerful light around the nostril. Then that means breathing is a chain to the light. We can say this is called nimitta. Okay. The next one.
Saro, usually some people, a lot of people, like they they love listening to good song and watch like action movie or whatever, and their mind is like super glue onto the object of the attention. Is there a way to help us meditator to glue our mind into the object of meditations in an easier way and effective way for help for our meditation?
Okay, sure. If we are very interested in the meditation subject like a movie or anything, sure, we can improve, right? So we can also say glue. Sometimes, if you're trying to fix too much, also be careful, right? So you can know the breathing, but don't fix at one point too much. If you fix too much, you may feel tension. Sometimes your touching point is changing, then your mind is going to fix in one place. Then you may have a lot of doubt about focusing place or touching points, right? So I know the command to fix on one place. So your mind should be flexible. Keep knowing breathing anywhere you feel. Okay, we're gonna say like glues, right? Okay, another one.
Yes, and my Dhamma friend, they sometimes they note and they have really high concentration, and then on top of their head like really heat and it's really hot. Even upon touching, it's like hot. So what exactly is that case, and how she can help her better concentrate without heating like fire?
Okay. Okay, so sometimes when you put too much efforts, it can happen. Right? Sometimes you may follow many sensation. It also can happen. So that means don't follow any sensation. Okay, another thing is, although we talk about touching points, right? If you very strongly focus on the touching point, you may also feel tension. Be careful, right? That means don't put too much mind power, don't put too much bodily energy to know the breathing or to know the touching points. Then if you don't focus on the sensation too much, you can overcome this problem. Another is controlling. If you control your breathing too much, also you can feel tension or hearts. Some heart, you may feel heart or pain in your head or in your chest. Okay.
This one, I promise. And one friend, she said that she used the counting methods like 1 to 8, and then she find it very helpful for her concentration. But is there a certain point of time during for the concentration she should stop in order to attain, to get nimitta or higher concentration sara, or she can keep on counting?
So that means if you can know the breathing without wandering thoughts, you can stop counting. Actually, without counting or without noting, if you can keep knowing breathing naturally and simply, it is better, more comfortable. Okay? If you have to count or if you have to note, you have to put extra efforts to know it. That's why sometimes there will be some difficulty for you to improve. So, okay, it depends on her conditions, right? If she has very good concentration, stop counting. Just keep knowing breathing normally. If she has a lot of thoughts, okay, do counting. Okay, so she can change her methods. Okay, now?
Any more questions?
Okay, now.
Okay, so we'll read from the chat group. The question from chat group.
Okay.
The first question is a Vietnamese question. Could Bhante Paauk please help to translate?
Yes, Sir. Can you hear me, Sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, Sir. So the question is, Vietnamese Sir, I am a layperson, so when I want to practice Suba meditation, so should I go to the funeral, should I go to the cemetery, or should I go to see some accident, like car accident, so I see the dead body, so I take it as the object. But I worry that if I go there and see the dead body, maybe that dead person will follow me. So is that so? Can the dead person follow me? And or somebody, my relative, just like commit suicide, and also like after that, they are what they think here the ghost or their soul come back and ask another relative to follow them. I mean, die with them. So, is that possible that the person already died and also can come back or become a beta and come back and also ask another person to die, follow them? Yeah.
Actually, we don't have this kind of belief, right? So, okay, when you're going to meditate, okay, we have different meditation subjects. When you're going to practice Asava meditation, sure, you can go and see dead body anywhere, not only in the China ground, it also can be at home or anywhere, right? This is for Asava meditation or Mrananosati meditation, recollection of death, right? For ordinary meditators, although you don't go and see this kind of dead body, it doesn't matter. The thought about the relatives or any other things, you should not take as object because they have very close relationship with you. If somebody is very close to you, instead of having a sense of urgency, you may have a lot of sorrow, grief, right? That's why we don't recommend to see or to take your relatives as objects. Okay, we don't believe he will come back and take, right? His relative to follow him. This is some misunderstanding. As long as we have strong karma or maybe our lifespans, we can use our life. Okay.
Second question. How to check oneself if one is really confident or overconfident, mana, and stubborn? It is not easy to see oneself. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. Okay, for example, whether confidence or any confidence, right? We can say like confidence or mana, both will make decision. Stronger decision. After making decisions, it make messy or it make clear. So when we have confidence, when we make decision with the confidence, saddha, then it will make our mind clear. This is one of the reasons, right? One of the case. If we have make decisions with mana, it will make our mind unclear. This is two different things. Another thing is, okay, when we have mana, this is akusala citta. Our mind is not very pure. When we have saddha, this is the kusala citta. Our mind will be pure. Two different things. Okay, so that means by doing with mana, it cannot purify our mind. By doing with saddha, we can purify our mind. The two different benefits, two different results. Okay. Another one.
The next question is a Vietnamese question. Pandit Para.
Yeah.
Next question.
Vietnamese said, how can we know that the way of practice anapana is correct or not? How can we know that the person who teach anapana or teach meditation is correct or wrong, or the way they are own invention, or the way the Buddha teaching? So how can we know, said?
Actually, in this case, you should have learning knowledge, right? Learning knowledge. For example, when we study Mahasatipatthana Sutta, for example, right? There are many parts. People cannot understand. Okay, I will give one example. In Anapanasati chapter, in Mahasatipatthana Sutta, at the end, there's one statement. Iti ajadawa kaya kanubasi viharati, vidawa kaya kanubasi viharati. That means that's he mindfully breathing, body in the body, internally, body in the body, externally, body in the body, both internally and externally. We have that kind of statement, right? So that means, okay, in my case, okay, if for example, if somebody talk about the Satipatthana Sutta, I just ask this question: how do you understand this part? If they can answer properly, I will accept their teaching. If they cannot answer properly, I will not accept their teaching, right? Because I have learning knowledge. So similarly, if you have learned many different things from Buddha's teaching, you can clarify which one is right, which one is wrong. Okay, for other way, we must have comparative study. For example, Mahasatipatthana Sutta also mentioned Anapanasati. We also have another part, Pradisambhidamagga, also mentioned Anapanasati. These are from Pali Canon. Anapana from Vipassana is stronger. It's by Venerable Sariputta. He mentions very many things in detail in Vipassana. So when you go and read Visuddhimagga also, you can find Anapanasati chapter very clearly. Compared to the previous one, Vipassana, actually Vipassana is stronger in my knowledge. Okay, I like Vipassana more than Visuddhimagga because it mentioned very much in detail. It also taught by Venerable Sariputta, also from Pali Canon, Khuddaka Nikaya. Also, very many minor details about Anapana chapter. Integrity of Anapanasati, also purity of Anapanasati, it mentioned many parts. Okay, so that's why if you have knowledge, nobody can cheat you. If you don't have knowledge, many people will cheat you. You have to follow many different teachers. Then, although you follow many different teachers, you cannot improve. You may experience similar things or the same things every day, right? So if we are practicing the Buddha traditions, or maybe as Buddha taught, in every single improvement, there's a difficulty. After overcoming difficulties, we can also improve, right? So, for example, okay, in the case of Anapanasati, I will pinpoint some parts. For example, if you see the light, this is one difficulty. Mostly, we were interested in the light. When we follow it, it will disappear. So if we don't have any attachment to the light, sure, we can stabilize our minds. We can focus on the breath better. Then another one is rapture, tranquility. Whatever then we experience, then it becomes an obstacle. That means we like this kind of experiences, attachments, right? So if we don't follow anything like this, just keep knowing, breathing, there will be more improvement. Okay, the main thing is, according to your questions, how can we know right or wrong? That means we must have learning knowledge. If we have learned, we can know right or wrong. See, later I have to talk about Dhamma Vichaya. They also mention learning. Okay, this is also important. Next one. Okay, the next one.
Next question. Wanami Sayadaw, is breath a form produced by karma? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Actually, breath is produced by mind. We can say mind produces materialities, right? Not by karma. Okay, next one.
Wanami Sayadaw, is awareness of breath only through touch sensation? When we felt awareness of breath only without touching sensation, is it still through touch sensation? When we see light around eye, is it because we are trying to see breath? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. Actually, in this case, I should recommend don't analyze too much. Okay. So that means sometimes you can know the breathing through the sensation. Sometimes you can know the breathing without sensation. As I don't analyze sensation or no sensation, right? Just make it simple. If you analyze, it will get confused. Not that much beneficial for understanding also, right? But now this is okay, see the light around the eyes. Then you sure. Sometimes when we are using our eye to see the breath, the light will come to our eyes. This is also normal. So we must use our mind to know the breathing. We must feel the breath through the sensation. Only two things, okay? So whenever we talk about meditation, we have to understand three different meditations. One, seeing. For example, kasina. We have to see kasina circle with our eye opens. After that, we have to close the eye, visualize. That's why kasina, we can say, through seeing. Another one is learning. For example, 32 body parts. If we have learned anatomy, we can also practice 32 body parts by learning. Another one is by touching. In the case of breathing, by touching, we can know the breathing. So, if we summarize, there are three types of meditation, right? Seeing, learning. Or you can also know through the, you can also know through the feeling, right? Touching sensation. Or you can also know with your mind, you can also feel in your body. Two different things, okay? This one.
Next question. Pandemi Siado, if we keep expecting light or nimitta, will light appear due to our expectation like mind-made light, which is not real light? Should we just practice naturally and let light and nimitta appear itself based on concentration? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Actually, if we expect, it's a greed. Right? If we expect the light or nimitta is a greed, then it's not good result. It cannot be effective practice. So without any expectation, just keep knowing, breathing naturally. The light will appear naturally, nimitta will appear naturally. So if you create, or if you made the light or nimitta, right? Like we say, as we say, mind-made light or mind-made nimitta, that you cannot maintain. Within a few seconds, it will disappear or it will change. If it produced by concentrations, it will last long. Now many people have seen the light, right? Within a few seconds, disappear. Like flashlight disappear. This means when your mind inclined to it, it disappear. Then when your mind interested in it, it disappear. Sometimes you have expectation of the light, then the light will never come back. Okay? That's why we don't recommend to follow the light or to expect the light. Just practicing naturally will be good enough for improvement. Okay, next one.
Vandami Siado, just now during the talk, Siado mentioned about the other practitioner, and he himself also have some idea. This is not correct. So how to understand this statement?
Okay, can you repeat?
Yeah, just now during the talk, Siado mentions that if someone has some opinions towards other practitioner, so in this case, if he himself have this idea, this is not correct. So what does that mean by that?
I don't understand also.
This question is not so clear. I think it's related to the Cetokila, means someone has opinion.
Doubt about maybe sure.
Not doubt
about the practice, sure.
Yeah, opinions towards the others.
How about the practice?
Not practice, the other practitioner. He has some opinions.
Okay. So one more thing here, right? So right and wrong is actually come from the Buddha teaching. So that means as long as we don't follow the wrong path, it will be okay. Other opinion means, okay, now we should say easier way, right? We can believe anything we like. It doesn't matter. The main thing is for improvement, we must have right belief, right? Similarly, whatever meditation tradition we follow, it doesn't matter. This is our preference, we can follow. The main thing is, if we follow the wrong paths, the wrong traditions, we cannot improve, right? Although you meditate 10 years, 15 years, 100 years, you will experience the same things or similar things, right? Also, I already met many meditators. I also come from many other traditions. Anyway, the main thing is, in every single meditation traditions, there is some special common points. They stop there. There's a calmness. Or sometimes they also say emptiness. Sometimes when their minds and their effort and their concentration is not very harmonious, then when concentration becomes stronger, effort becomes weaker, their mind will become very blurred. It's really very peaceful. They like peacefulness. They stop there. No more improvements. Right? So that is why we can believe, we can follow. But for about improvements, we have to choose the right path. Okay? That's why we cannot say opinions or anything. It comes from tradition and practice.
Vandami Siado. During meditations, the light appear, the degree, the brightness of the light and the purity of the mind have some relationships, but the color and the color of the light, is it related to the meditator's Chittaja Rupa and his Jakupasada? And is there any difference in the degree of the color? And another question is, nimitta, when it comes to Patibhaga nimitta, how to maintain so that it will continuously become bright. And at this time, this nimitta means at the Patibhaga nimitta stage, must it be white color? How about purple color? Could it consider nimitta also?
Actually, I don't recommend to analyze, right? What kind of Chitta Rupa or Jakupasara or color or anything, right? I don't recommend to analyze like this. In the case of samatha, if you analyze, you may get confused, okay? I don't recommend to do it. If what about the color of nimitta, Vidiraga nimitta, it can be different according to the perceptions, okay? Then this one.
Bhante, next question is a Vietnamese question.
Yes, Vietnamese said all. Vietnamese said also, for the last few months of practice meditation, I just feel the tension around my eye, and also my nose, and also like my lip. And I practice meditation daily, and very difficult to focus on the breath. And I also go to see a doctor to check my nose, and because of maybe because of my city, the air pollution very strong, very high pollution. So can Sayadaw teach me how to continue practice Anapana? Should I continue practice Anapana or change to another subject, another meditation?
Okay, what about the tension around the head? I mean, if you close your eyes very tightly, also you can feel some irritation, tension in your eyes. Be careful with that one, right? Another thing is what about the tension around the nose? If you forcefully breathe in without, it also can happen. Don't force too much. This is also one of the reasons, right? For other cases, I cannot elaborate easily. I cannot understand easily, right? For example, air pollution. I don't know your condition in your city. Okay, the main thing is when you are going to focus on the breathing, you must relax your mind. Don't be in a hurry. This is one other thing. Another thing is, if necessary, you can open your eyes, keep knowing breathing naturally. If you can know breathing naturally, you can close your eyes, keep knowing naturally. Sometimes you are in a hurry. You may put too much effort. The more you force yourself, the more you feel tension. Okay, so I don't recommend to change object easily, but although you are practicing very long time, if you cannot improve, okay, there will be exception. Mostly I also allow them to change meditation subjects. Okay, this one.
Next question is a Vietnamese question also.
Yes, at all. So Vietnamese said all. Nhiều năm trước con Quang Thiền. For the many years ago, I had practiced meditation. I could see the light, and I also feel very light and rất nhẹ and like floating on the air. And sometimes I feel like emptiness. At that time, I did not understand the meditation and also the benefit of meditation. So I stopped my meditation. Bạch Ngài, giờ con thực hành lại Nimitta. So now I just practice meditation again. So can I again the Nimitta again, like last time?
Okay, so don't expect too much also, right? If you are practicing normally, you can regain your concentration. You can get back to your Nimitta. If you expect too much, it will get worse, okay? Don't expect. It will be fine. This one.
Okay,
问答米下的这个节身心但微弱心体。Is assets Patisanti, mind moment, and other weak mind, can other mind produce breath?
Okay. one more thing, right? For example, eye consciousness, ear consciousness, right? All these consciousness cannot produce any mind-produced materialities, right? Similarly, there are some consciousness they cannot produce mind-produced mentalities. The main thing is actually it's not that much useful for all listeners. Okay, I have to remind all the questioners. Okay, be careful. Sometimes I have to answer questions. Actually, I can answer the question, but I don't wish to answer because it's not useful for all the listeners. Okay.
Is there any loba that is without mana and without ditti, pure loba?
Okay. So we can say Ditikata Vipayuta, right? It can be pure loba without ditti, without mana. It also can be, right?
Okay, sadhu, Sarah. We don't have any question anymore. So also it's already 6 minutes past 8:30. Thank you very much for your teaching today. And